Boneworks' successor, Bonelab, was the most hyped VR game of 2022. Not only was it given hype due to Stress Level's history and success from Boneworks, but this was the first time that if you weren't able to buy a $1,000 PC and the Quest 2 on top of it, you were actually able to play this game with the Quest 2 standalone. Which for a lot of fans of Boneworks seemed like a pretty great idea, a pretty exciting idea. After playing countless hours of Bonelab at this point, even playing it for 24 hours straight, I hadn't really noticed that small little certain feeling of hell yeah, or why not? A lot like that feeling we get with Blade and Sorcery, you know? When we have zero plan of what we're actually going to be doing, but we just hop into the game with zero frame of reference and then just start cutting stuff up for shits and gigs. And we can do that stuff for hours. Figuring it out is the fun part. What? But for some reason, Bonelab just doesn't do that for me. I can't shake the idea that there's some people out there that may be feeling the same way I do when it comes to this game. And I thought, in true YouTube fashion, why not make a video on it so we can figure this out together as a community? And really ask ourselves the question, is Bonelab dying? Or has it already died? Or are we just tripping? Before we decide whether or not Bonelab is dying or not, we gotta look at some facts first. So guys, let's take a quick dive into the realm of is Bonelab dying? So firstly, graphics. We know graphically that Bonelab is a tad different when it's played on PC VR versus the Quest 2 standalone. So in terms of graphic cards, the Quest 2 relies on an Adreno 630 GPU, which for those of you who don't know what that is, it's essentially the graphics card that's used for most high-end smartphones, such as the Samsung Galaxy S23. Meanwhile, on PC, you got an abundance of ideas and choices that you can really pull from to get the best graphics for VR out of a graphics card. We also can't forget much better RAM and a much better CPU to go along with that abundance of choice. But I mean, look at this, right? If you had to compare these two differences in graphics to each other, it's like watching Family Guy versus The Cleveland Show. I mean, sure, they basically have the same premise and character structure down to the animal companionship, but we all know Family Guy is much better.
Same, but different.
Much better. Go check out the full video taking a deeper dive into the graphics over on Joe Stall's channel. He does a really good job at showing you guys the difference, and it's kind of shocking sometimes. Now with that rant out of the way, let's look at some more facts about Bonelab. Hype. Stress Level 0 managed to keep a pretty stable level of hype between its 2019 Project 4 teaser announcement all the way up to its release on September 29th, 2022. Stress Level 0 pushed the idea that we were going to be given an astounding campaign, which was the main selling point of the game itself with all the hype. Really fun in-game content in addition to the campaign that they said would be fantastic and amazing, and stellar mod support, all wrapped up with a nice price point of $40. But we didn't really get that, did we? Stress Level 0 managed to give us a 5-hour campaign that at moments was kinda mind-numbing, and after playing that campaign, all we're really given is a few modes that surprisingly have a very small amount of content that in a way makes you feel like you wasted $40 on a refitted version of Boneworks on the Quest 2. And at launch, they also didn't have any mod support that over time has been slowly rolling out, but at the end of the day, the full SDK is not released 4 months later. Although, even with the tools that have been given to all the modders for Bonelab, there have been some very impressive mods that have been created since the game's initial release. But, and honestly, as an American, this pains me to say, if I see another Glock mod, my head's gonna explode. There's just so many of these, oh my god!
Take this.
However, while I was thinking of what to say during this video, while I was making this video, I almost forgot one important and very crucial factor for the reason why Bonelab was created in the first place.
Why?
It was to give fans and new members to the Quest 2 who could not afford to pay $1,000 for a new PC to have access to a game like Boneworks, in this case it's Bonelab. And by that metric, that goal was accomplished. You can completely play Bonelab on the Quest 2 standalone. So that still begs the question, is Bonelab dead? Is it dying, or are we just tripping? I think there's two solid ways to answer this question. Big picture, the answer is no, Bonelab isn't dead or dying, we're tripping. Directly after launch, within the first hour, Bonelab managed to sell $1 million worth of copies to fans. The community surrounding Bonelab is very strong and very tight-knit, a lot like Leonidas in the 300.
This is Sparta!
And they did in fact accomplish their overwhelming goal, which was to be able to play Bonelab on the Quest 2 standalone. So for that sense, I wouldn't exactly say that Bonelab is dying or even dead. However, if you want to focus more on the product itself, I would say that yes, in a sense Bonelab may be dying a bit and may be dead. A short campaign with shabby added game modes and a hit or miss mod support system that was all balled up into a $40 price point, which for the content that was given seems kind of ridiculous, and at times seems a bit more exhaustive to play than other VR titles. And for those reasons, I would say that yes, in a way Bonelab has failed or died. But a lot of this is my opinion, and I would really love to hear your guys' opinions as well. So please leave them all down in the comment section below. I'm really excited to see what you guys have to say about Bonelab itself. And don't be afraid to hop into the Discord either and let me know what you guys think there as well. Thanks for watching today's video, you guys. I really do appreciate it. If y'all would not mind hitting that like button so that way this video can be pushed out to as many people as possible, because I really want some opinions out here. Hit that subscribe button if you guys enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Alright everybody, that was John the World VR. Peace.